Leo's father worked in a factory where the machines never rested. Even after work, the noise stayed inside his head. The air smelled of iron. His clothes did too. The pay was small, just enough to survive. Not enough for comfort, not enough for rest. But every month, before food, before medicine, before anything else, he paid one thing first: Leo's school fees. Many nights, he went to bed hungry, and he accepted it, because his son needed books more than he needed dinner. Some sacrifices are never announced. They are made in silence. Leo was only 12, but life had already stopped treating him like a child. Every morning at 4 a.m., before the sky changed color, Leo woke up. He cooked simple food, packed it carefully, cleaned the room, then walked to school while the city was still asleep. After that, his father walked to the factory. Their home was small, weak walls, almost nothing inside. But complaining never entered that room. Complaining didn't fix hunger. It didn't pay fees. Some homes are poor in things, but rich in discipline. One evening, his father came home and saw smoke pouring out of their shelter. He ran inside. Leo was coughing. His eyes were red. The firewood was wet. The smoke had nowhere to go. His father pulled him outside, fear in his voice. "Why did you cook today? I could have done it." Leo wiped his eyes and smiled. "You already work all day," he said softly. "You come home tired. I don't want you to suffer more." His father looked at him, not like a child, but like a man far too young to be one. That night, he said quietly, "I got my pay today. Let's eat outside." It was nothing special. Cheap food, a noisy place. But to them, it felt like a festival. Happiness doesn't need much, only relief from pain. Leo was sharp in class, always present, always focused. While others dreamed loudly, he studied silently. His father had one dream: to see his son wear a white coat, to see him save lives, because no one had saved his wife. Leo carried that dream carefully, like glass, like a promise. Then one day, everything collapsed. A heavy machine slipped at the factory. There was shouting, then silence. Months later, his father returned home, quiet, empty, staring at nothing. "I lost your mother," he said. "Now I've lost my hands." He paused. "I wanted to see you become a doctor, but I think my dream is dead." Leo sat beside him. Fear rose inside his chest. If I fail now, his pain becomes permanent. If I stop, his sacrifice means nothing. Leo placed his hand on his father's arm. "No," he said calmly. "Your dream is still breathing. As long as I breathe, it will live." Sometimes hope survives only because someone refuses to let it die. From that day, Leo stopped being a boy. He studied before sunrise, went to school. After school, he walked door to door selling small items: soap, brushes, anything he could carry. On weekends, he worked until his feet burned. Some nights, hunger returned. But the dream never left. One week, nothing sold, not one item. That same day was his college admission deadline. He checked his pocket again and again, empty. As the sun began to fall, he knocked on one last door. A woman opened it. She didn't look at the soap. She looked at his face. "You're hungry," she said. "Sit." She gave him biscuits and water. After he ate, she asked, "Why aren't you in school?" "I finished," Leo said. "Today was my admission day." "How much do you need?" "500. She went inside, came back, and placed the money in his hand. "Go," she said. "Don't waste time." Leo ran, because when hope appears, it doesn't wait. Some moments decide an entire lifetime, and they last only seconds. Years passed. The nights were long. The books were heavy. But Leo kept his promise. He became a doctor. Not famous, not rich, trusted. He opened a small hospital. His father watched quietly every day. One night, an emergency arrived. An old woman, alone, very sick. "Admit her," Leo said. "But sir," a junior doctor replied, "the cost will be high." Leo didn't hesitate. "Then the cost will be mine." For 2 months, he stayed close. If someone once paid for my future, then my future must pay for others. When the woman was ready to leave, a nurse handed her an envelope. Inside, no bill, only a note. "This was paid long ago. You once helped a hungry boy with 500. That boy became a doctor. Today he returned what you gave him. Hope," the woman cried. Leo walked in and said softly, "That day you didn't save me from hunger. You saved my future. Life is cruel, but kindness is stronger. A tired father, a determined boy, a stranger who chose to help. One small choice created a doctor and saved many lives. Never think your kindness is small. Someone's future may be waiting for it. What would you do in Leo's place? Comment below.